to Ceiling Shattering Tactics. We are here to elevate, innovate, and disrupt executive leadership by digging into the tools and tactics that have helped transformative entrepreneurs and leaders get to where they are today. Joining us is Ashima Sharma. She is the founder and CEO of Dreami, a mentorship platform dedicated to making mentorship equitable for underrepresented individuals. Ashima, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be here.
Yes. So tell me, what is your ceiling shattering tactic?
Yeah, so I have a few, but really the main one for today is definitely to get yourself a mentor in your career and actually your life as well. It has been monumental for my progress as a founder and as a professional.
So we think of mentorships, when we're younger, when we're in university, getting out of university, but is it for all ages? Like, what is your recommendation?
Yeah, so there is this connotation that mentorship is mainly for when you're newer and just starting off your career. Maybe you've just graduated from college, but really the gap that is often overlooked is that mentorship can be for life. There are many phases that occur in your career, right? There's the early stage where you're just beginning and you're just learning the mechanics of working in a corporate job. But then there's the phases afterwards, such as, getting your first promotion, negotiating your salary, getting into management, and then moving up the ladder to executive leadership. That requires just as much support and hands-on guidance as the first few years of your career.
And so, you know what I love about this? Because I think about my career and I had mentors that I literally grabbed and said, will you please mentor me? My company structure was never set up to have a mentorship program, which I know some companies have, and that's stellar. I always had to go out and just be like, you are doing what I want to do. Please tell me more. So what is a better strategy other than just going after someone that would work to get a mentor?
Well, first of all, I think we should give yourself a little bit more credit than what you're giving, because what you're doing often does have to be the technique sometimes if your company does not provide mentorship programs in-house, which is fairly common, but thankfully is changing. And so we definitely recommend that if you don't have those opportunities that are formally structured in your company, there's a few mechanisms in which you can find a mentor. But actually, let's back up first and talk about step number one, which is, what is your goal? Where are you at right now? And where do you want to go? And what are your goals that you want to achieve? I actually believe that's fundamental to finding a great mentor. If you are not clear on your goals, it's actually that much more difficult to find somebody who can guide you, right? They need to know what they can guide you on, and you want to make sure that they have the relevant background for you. So step number one, get super clear on your goals. Step number two is, okay, now that you've gone very clear on where you want to go, now comes time to finding your mentor. And I actually recommend that some of the best mentorship relationships are often the ones that are the most organic. So tapping into your existing network can be an effective way to finding and sourcing potential mentors. So let's take an example. Let's say you've been working at your current company for a few years. You want to get promoted and you want to become a people manager. And there has been this manager that you've been working with on projects for a few years. They know how you work. You guys work together really well. That can be an excellent potential candidate for a mentor. And the way to approach someone like that, rather than strictly saying, can you be my mentor, can approach it a little bit more of a conversational and casual front. Would you be interested in getting coffee with me, as I'd love to get your advice on how you navigated the move from IC to management? That opens the invitation for a little bit more of a casual conversation rather than a commitment to be a mentor, and actually makes it easier for this potential mentor to open up to you as well during a more casual conversation. So that's what I actually recommend, taking a little bit more of a conversational, casual, and organic approach to finding someone who could potentially become your mentor if the connection is right between both of you.
And so how has mentorship transformed your journey and what you're doing? What's a specific example?
Yeah, so I'm a recent founder. I never anticipated to start and build my own company. But for me, I saw that lack of mentorship in the workplace and out of the workplace, and I wanted to change that narrative completely. I want mentorship to be more equitable and accessible, regardless of your social capital. And so, as I've started building the business and building the company, I've been thankfully granted access to some incredible mentors that have completely changed my perspective on what I'm capable of. And for you to get that empowerment and that confidence that you can achieve some really, really big goals and a bold vision, that's powerful. And that's actually life changing. And because of those mentors, because of those coaches, I have not given up yet on the company, even though there have been times that I honestly have wanted to because it got difficult. So I'll go to say that really a lot of people think mentorship is just about giving advice. It's not that. There's more to it. Really, the power in mentorship is empowerment and passing along that empowerment to the next generation.
Well, and so I wanted that's incredible. And I think it's so important to remember that it's more than just, advice because it's a relationship that lasts for a long time. I want to flip it. What is something that you shouldn't do if you want a mentor?
Yeah. So we walk through this in some of our trainings, actually, when we train our mentees. So I'll give you an example. I had a mentee who I was talking to for several weeks, and then all of a sudden she vanished and I didn't hear from her. And I was concerned, actually. For several months, I didn't hear from her. And finally, she followed up with me and said, "Hey, I'm sorry that I vanished. I was actually embarrassed to tell you that I wasn't making much progress on the goals that we were talking about, and I didn't want to let you down." And I go to tell mentees now that even if you feel like you're not making progress or if it feels like you're failing, don't be afraid to continue following up with your mentor. In fact, that's when you should be leaning on them the most, when you need that support. The mentors will not judge you. The best mentors will not judge you, and they will want to go out of their way to help. So please, keep that relationship going. Please be proactive with your mentor and don't feel embarrassed if you feel like you're not making monumental progress week over week.
That's amazing. So to reach your goals, you need a mentor. And to have a mentor, you need to have specific goals. I love it. All right, that's great. Well, before we go, I want to go to our next segment with Lauren, which is Dear Future Disruptors. Lauren's got just a few questions for you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your answers so far. You're very good at answering questions. It's very fluent and it makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
So, what's one decision you have made that changed the trajectory of your life?
Oh my gosh. Wow. So I definitely am going to say I in September of this year, I made the really difficult decision to, quit my corporate job and take Dreami full time. Before that, Dreami was just a side, passion project. I didn't really think much of it as a company, but over time it became very clear that it needed somebody full time and that there was truly a pain point out there. And, I was on the trajectory with my past company of, really growing and had the most amazing manager and the most amazing team that I was leading that I felt like I would be letting everybody down. But I had to, take some time to myself and really think, what do you want right now in your career? And for me, what I really wanted at this stage, that I wanted to learn rapidly. And I actually want to fail fast as well, because that's where a lot of the growth comes from. And so I said, I'm willing to take that risk, and we're going to leave behind something that had a promising, path. And we're going to take the path where, the next steps look very uncertain and it's unclear what 1 year from now will look like. But, even in the short few months that I've taken this full time, it's cliche, but I have grown so much in my confidence and in my belief of what I can actually achieve in the world. So one of the best decisions actually I've ever made, and has already changed my life.
That's amazing. That's so good to hear. it means a lot for a company to have that kind of like passion and support behind it. So that's very exciting. And
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what resources might you suggest for new leaders or perhaps people that are looking for mentorship?
Yeah, so I think there's a few. Anyone who I was actually, promoted to a leadership position earlier this year, and I was a new leader, and I didn't know where to even begin. And I took the step where I actually tapped the shoulder of leaders that I admired and asked them, what have you done when you were in my position to step into this position and really take charge and, feel confident in your power? And what they suggested was coaching. And so I took that advice pretty seriously and sought out a leadership coach. And they introduced me to a program called Positive Intelligence for basically training your mind to become mentally fit and resilient. And that program has been absolutely mind-blowing, to say the least. All the worries and anxiety and self-doubt that I would constantly face has been completely transformed into viewing failures as gifts, and really understanding how to tap into what they call the sage version of myself to truly be the most innovative, action-oriented leader that I can be.
Thank you.
That's amazing. And thank you, Lauren. Actually, Positive Intelligence, I've got the book and I want to reread it. So it's such a great resource for bringing up. That's fantastic. And before we let you go and continue doing your transformative work, tell us one thing that you're doing right now that you're really excited about that we can share with our community.
Yeah, I am super excited that, Dreami is starting to work with some amazing companies going into next year. And so if anyone listening is, thinking about bringing mentorship into their company, or even a professional community, we'd love to chat, because we're truly saying that we can make some pretty impactful change in the workforce by introducing people to the power of mentorship and actually down the line coaching, and really tap into the limitless power, that resides in everybody.
That's amazing. And so where do they go if they want to contact you?
Yeah, you can go to dreami.io. That's dream with an I at the end.io, or send an email to hello@dreami.io, and we'd love to chat.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So that is it for this week's Ceiling Shattering Tactics. If you'd like more insight into the toolbox of influential female leaders, such as Ashima, follow Mind the Ceiling on social media to get the latest updates. See everybody next week.